Looks to come inside and find one, a goal, and find the back of the net for Perth.
And the Azzurri have come back from 2 goals down to tie it up.
Cue the celebrations for the Azzurri.
Yeah, welcome to the Perth SC Podcast, Episode 3. Blayne Treadgold and Ben Stroud. Great to have you on board with us yet again. Make sure you keep spreading the word of the Perth SC Podcast. What it means is we can keep producing some fantastic content and keep spreading the word of the mighty Perth Soccer Club. Plenty to happen over the next, maybe an hour or so. And we've got Jordan DeLeo, former captain, bit of a club legend, Benny. He's going to join us a little bit later on. 4 league titles, 4 top 4 cups, and a night series as well. Not bad going.
Captain, leader, legend.
Looking forward to catching up with Jordan. And we're going to speak to Sean Doolan now. I've labelled him a bit of a super fan. I'm not sure how that sits with him. But it's always good to get a bit of a perspective on what it's like to view the game from the other side of the fence. And I guess what drives people to come down week in, week out, don the scarf kind of thing and get behind the boys.
Yeah, 100%. Really looking forward to that chat and seeing about his history and how he got to the club and why he stuck around as well.
Benny, before we get into that, we do need to address the weekend's action. Unfortunately, a 4-1 loss for the boys across the weekend. Bright spark was Gordon Perkins with what turned out to be a bit of a consolation goal, mate. But unfortunate result, but how did you see the performance?
Yeah, definitely unfortunate and disappointing at the same time. Look, we shoot ourselves in the foot. Honestly, that's where the other team gets opportunities from, and we just need to tighten up some screws there. Basically, it's how can we limit the opportunities we give to the other team, because we've been punished for them basically, and the teams have put away chances, and then it puts you in a tough position to try and reel these games in a scoreline like that. So look, I'm never going to fault any of the boys' effort, because I still think everyone's trying hard. We're all working hard for each other, and we're still putting in the plan in place, which is good. And I think that we are creating chances at the same time. We are creating them. We just haven't been taking them. So once that starts going, once we start flowing, I think the momentum will really get in our favour, and that's what's exciting to come.
Tough team to go up against, Red Star, it must be admitted, and they were good on the day when you've got guys like Daryl Nickel coming at, gold medal winner for the league as well. How did you find the defensive duties on the weekend?
Yeah, it's not easy. They definitely put us under pressure, but at the same time, I think we did really well to play our style and play out from the back and break that press a bunch of times too. So, as I said, we gave them opportunities at times, and when they've got quality up front to take them, yeah, they did it, and credit to them. So, as I said, going forward, how can we limit those chances, and how can we turn our ones into goals at the other end?
Yeah, where do you feel it needs to improve? Is it just about, is this just a hill you've got to get over? Is that the way it feels at the moment?
Yeah, look, there's ebbs and flows in all areas of life, right? Like sometimes things go well, sometimes they don't. And right now we're in one of those states and one of those flows where it's been going against us a bit. But look, that's a challenge as an athlete. Like as we're going to talk about, we've got an opportunity at the weekend to go forward and get another 3 points. So all you can do is you can take the lessons and then move forward from there. So I've got full belief, honestly, in what we're doing, the processes that we're going through, and the players and the quality we've got. I believe it's gonna turn tide and it's gonna work in our favour very, very soon.
And how's the week been training wise? Yeah,
good reaction from the boys. Like, we know where we are. We're realistic at the same time, and we're going about the process that Kenny's given to us and the challenge that he's giving us. So how can we keep refining that and keep getting better? It's going well, honestly. I'm really I've got a lot of respect for the boys with how they're carrying themselves.
And starting to see some, returnees from injury, but also great to see some young lads starting to get some minutes in the first team as well, with Taylor Wright particularly getting his debut on the weekend.
Yeah. Look, Taylor's quality. He's a quality player, and I've watched him in the 20s a bunch. I've obviously seen him in training too. And so, he's been rewarded through his hard work with the debut. So that's great to see. And then obviously you've got Macca as well, who's been coming off the bench regularly and being involved, and he's been class as well. we train with a bunch of the under-20s too, and they genuinely put in a really good shift, and they've got great attitudes. And by the way that their league's going and how they're doing with results, there's opportunities there for them. So and they're taking it to their credit. So yeah, it's a great part of the game, and it's a good process to be involved with.
I guess just looking ahead, we'll do it a little bit more at the end of the show. But do you get Abdul Osman back? Is he back this week, or is he?
I actually don't know when Abdul's back.
Obviously, just for the listeners, away with on international duties with Somalia at the moment.
Yeah, I think he might have one more game to go, to be honest. So then he'll be back after that. But I'm sure he's doing well over there and soaking up all that experience and probably gaining some more knowledge. So yeah, we'll be excited to welcome him back when he's ready.
Also, Benny, big win for the girls on the weekend, big 6-0. That was in the State Cup. So the girls roll on to the next round.
Yeah, it's class to see, and especially they've got 5 different goal scorers, getting 6 goals there. So obviously their attack is going really, really well. And obviously when we spoke to Annika last week, she was talking about how their relationships are starting to get better. They're starting to build off each other and understand each other's runs, and clearly it's getting better and better. So that's exciting to see, and congrats to them, and really looking forward to them in the semi-final against Freo.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Probably a favourable draw, so looking forward to that. Certainly a game that is winnable based on, previous meetings, but it is the Cup, and you never know.
Cup run, you never know, and their last outgoing, obviously, against Freo was down a player at the same time. So look, I think that they'll feel like they own them one. So that's going to be that'll be a fireworks battle.
Is that at home?
For sure?
Do we know?
Not actually sure.
Okay,
no.
So we'll give more details on that in coming weeks as well. We're excited to have some special guests. We're going to chat next with Sean Doolan. He's going to join us. You will know Sean. Even if you don't recognise the name, you'll certainly know the face. Down here on most weeks, getting behind the Azuri. So stick around for that. And also club captain legend, as I think Stroud alluded to a little bit earlier on. Jordan DeLeo is going to join us around the second half of this. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come out the other side with Sean Doolan, who's going to join us next. Welcome back to the Perth SC Podcast. Blayne, Treadgold, Ben Stroud, a couple of great guests to come. Jordan DeLeo is going to join us a little bit later on. Club legends, Ben. We'll talk about JDL's career, and we'll go back a little bit in time and just see what he's up to these days as well. But I thought we might get superfan. Can we call him a superfan? I reckon we should.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Sean Doolan. Welcome, mate. Thanks for jumping on the pod.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be called a superfan.
Well, I don't know, mate, but I just thought, we might just chuck that in inverted commas, superfan. You're down here just about every game, and you wear your Azuri colours so proudly, mate, so I thought we might just chuck superfan in there, mate. But how's things?
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
very good. Nice to get the call up today.
Even if it was a little bit of a late call.
If I knew earlier, I would have bought my scarf.
Yeah.
It's all good.
No, very good, mate. And obviously, maybe not the season we anticipated at the start, but there's still some green shoots.
It's been, for me, I think, and the boys I come down with, we were expecting big things. The way the season ended last year. And obviously, a bit of a slow start, but the last couple of games I've been to, it's stressful watching Kenny's boys play out from the back, but there's a heap of chances being created, so it's definitely been a fun watch. Yeah. It'd be nice if we start converting some, but it's been, the last few weeks have been really good.
Yeah. And I mean, as we spoke about, Stroud, it is a process that's still kind of, the guys are still just, ironing out the creases, really.
100%. It's still going to take time. That's the thing.
Yeah.
When you have these changes, and what we spoke about before, is that the way that we're being asked to play, it takes courage, takes character. And look, as you said, from a player's perspective, the fact that you can see the chances being created, it gives us that courage and encouragement to actually keep getting. And as soon as that flow starts happening and they start going the back of the net, it builds momentum, right? And then I think it just becomes habit, and then eventually over time it's just taking a bit of process to get there for sure. But look, patience is a virtue, as they say, so hopefully soon, eh?
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, I mean, and throw a little bit of mitigating circumstances out there. Coach change, and that comes with, I guess, a new style of play and everything else. And I guess also the fact that there's been some considerable injuries as well, Stroudy.
Yeah, for sure. And like change, makes things difficult. I'm curious from your perspective and a fan perspective, seeing that change and the process happening. What is it like from the outside?
It's just like it's so noticeable. Like from day one of Kenny coming in, can change the game so we could notice from the sideline. And I think it took a while to show dividends, but the last game I was at, which was, I missed the weekend game, but the cup game against Stirling, I was actually chatting to, at halftime, the president of Stirling, Luke, and he said to me, and I think you were there, Blayne, he said, you guys are getting in behind us more than anyone has this season. Just weren't quite seeing the result. It was evident from day one, and I think it's, from what I've seen, it's slowly getting better.
I'm curious, right? So obviously when speaking off air, like your story about how you got involved with the club, can you go back and just explain to us like what the reasons were, how you found Perth, and what made you actually come down to DG and support the Azzurri?
Yeah. I actually had to Google it before I came because it's been a few years now. But it was 2018, and I lived literally 50 metres that way, so close that my roof got broken by a soccer ball train. I think it was Rocco Pizzata back in the day.
Just when in doubt, put it over the top of the grandstand. Yeah,
it hit a tile, and one of the fixed it for us. So that's all good.
That's class.
But yeah, I'm actually a Dockers supporter from way back, and it was a horrible time for the Dockers. And I'd been living across the road for a while and been meaning to come over. Instead of giving my Saturday to the Dockers, I'll come over here and see what's going on over there. And that was the season that I think I joined around mid-season. My first game was around mid-season, and we were top 4, but we were a fair way behind Perth Glory Youth at the time. And I think most people had written Perth Soccer Club off, and we just kept winning, closing the gap, and we won league that year, I think, in the last game of the season up at Percy Doyle. Yeah. And by that stage I had roped about 4 other local boys into coming every week, and 2 of us made the trip up to Percy Doyle, and it was awesome. And like that, given what I had gone through with my footy club, that was what I needed. That never say die sort of, and obviously winning helps, but yeah, that we were in from that point on. Yeah.
And I guess it's not just you and the boys coming down, because you bring the family down as well, so you make it a bit of a family occasion too. Yeah,
it's been a few years now, so we've all got kids, and we've roped the wives in as well. And it's our catch up. It's our weekly catch up. So whether it's Saturday arvo, Friday night, nice to be able to come down and have a few beers and not have to. Yeah, like it's just a given. We don't have to organise anything. Everyone's just there.
And I reckon the beer sales actually go up a little bit when Sean and the boys are in.
There was a point where I think they were just trying to get rid of some export, and they put them down to $5 a can, and they went pretty quick.
That's unreal.
What was obviously you said that you came from more of an Aussie rules kind of background, but have you had any much exposure to the Round Ball Code?
Yeah, I'm just a sports fan. Being WA, Aussie rules is the main thing, but I watch everything casually.
Yeah, you've seen some memorable moments, and you talk about winning the league up there at Old Windy Hill. But who were some of the players that really kind of stood out to yourself, and you really liked?
Without a doubt, the couple of years where Christian Santich was dominating the midfield there, like the time that he was able to just generate on the ball and change things. So definitely him. It's a shame to not see him in blue this year.
Unfortunately, he's in other colours this year, but we won't talk about that.
And there was a brief, I think it was 6 months or not even, like half a season, where Cameron Teese and Domfay were partnering up forward, and geez, that was a brutal combination.
Well, we saw that Cameron Teese has still got it when he played against your boys for Stirling. Could certainly turn a game up, and obviously went over east and had a pretty good time.
In fact, that season where we lost him to over east, and we had a horror run with injuries, and we were still racking up wins was also really good to watch.
Yeah.
Can't remember when it was.
And we've got a guy coming up on the show called Jordan DeLeo, mate. I'm sure you'd have some good memories of Jordan doing his thing out there on the park.
Yeah, the two Italian wingbacks, Jordan and Silla. Yeah, we had a good few years with them.
Yeah.
It's nice to still see him around the club.
Yeah.
Give him a nod and say good day to him.
And I guess as far as the season goes, looking forward, some big ones to come, some exciting ones, I guess, from a fan perspective as well.
Yeah, we just got to, I think, be good to get some home wins, get the crowd back behind the boys. A few of the boys I come with are looking forward to some more Saturday Arvo games so they can bring the family down. But
I mean, because you were saying that obviously you got young children and stuff like that, and Friday nights obviously great spectacle for some, but others prefer the Saturday afternoon Stroudy. So it's a little bit different, isn't it?
As a player, it's different, right? Like, I mean, your preparation's different. Even Friday night games, for example, like, because you're just itching to get out there and itching to play, the day just seems so much longer. Then you think about things so much more. You're like, what time do I have to eat? When do I take a nap? What time do I get up? What's going to actually be the best energy-wise? But then when you walk out under the lights, it's a special feeling too. But look, Saturday afternoons, it's what you're used to as well at the same time. And you just try and go about your preparation. And look, it's been fair credit to everyone who showed up. It's been cracker crowds ever since I've been here, ever since the start of the night series, and that's what I love about this place, right? It's the people and who comes down and actually supports. And look, once we start, because I know what's going to happen once we start getting these results and bagging those goals in the back of the net, hopefully it just gets louder and louder and gets stronger and stronger. So that's what I'm looking forward to too. And
you mentioned you bring the boys down. I mean, what was their first impressions of this place? Because it's a little bit of a hidden gem. It's right in the middle of the city, but it's a little bit of a hidden gem.
Yeah, it really is. I think it's untapped potential because as soon as I brought them down for a game and you stand on the fence and you get that interaction with the coach and the players and you're right up there, like they were hooked almost from day one. I mean, it obviously helps that they live close and it's Saturday, but yeah, we've got a good crew now. We've got four sort of locked in and at good weekend, 6, 7, 8. Yeah.
I guess outside of football, mate, take us into a little bit more of your world.
I work for myself. A pretty boring job. I'm an accountant, but we go all right. We punch above our weight. In West Leederville, so still local, and just pretty flexible. So just get as much time with the family, as much time watching sport. Still got the Dockers tickets, so out at Optus Stadium every second week, and just here whenever we can, catching up around North Perth.
Tough one this weekend, just before we let you go, mate. Perth Glory at the Sam Kerr Football Centre. It's going to be an interesting experience. We're likely to see you out there?
No, I haven't been out there yet. I doubt I'll make it out there. I'm pretty staunch North Perth local, so we're pretty good with the away trips. We get to Inglewood, Bayswater. Yeah. I've been to Stirling, been up to Olympic Kingsway, wherever that is. If it was a final, I'd be out there, but not sure if you'll see me there.
Maybe a 6-pointer. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Sean, thanks for jumping on, mate. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to the Perth SC Podcast. Big thank you to Sean Doolan, who joined us just a little bit before the break. Super fan deluxe. Mate, passionate about his football, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. And not coming from a soccer, we'll say, background in WA to have him come down and actually stick around and enjoy it that much. It means a lot, obviously, and it's important for the club to know that too.
And that's the magnet that Azuri is, because, I mean, one thing that did stand out to him was the people. He said, I want to go down here and, like the people down here, and that is often what keeps people hanging around for many, many years. In fact, one bloke that's hung around this club for many years, he's jumped on with us. He's been good enough. Jordan DeLeo, former captain. Benny, just before we get to Jordan, 4-time league winner, 4-time top 4 cup, and a night series. Not a bad career, mate.
That's solid.
Not a bad career.
That's quality. Yeah. You're just trying to get his ego up here before.
I know.
Right? So,
his head won't get out the door. Jordan, welcome.
Appreciate you boys having me. Just when you're reading out those accolades, obviously they're not individual awards. So.
No, they're not. No, absolutely they're not. Absolutely they're not. Mate, what are you up to these days? Anyway, you decided to take a little bit of a quote-unquote break from your football. What's going on?
Yeah, just had been at the club for a long time. Obviously seen a few different renditions of the team. Still trying to get down to as many games as possible, but just thought it was time to sort of step away from the game for a year or so. Not retiring, as some people have said, retiring. It's more just a reflection of where I'm at in my personal life at the moment. So got a real busy job, and I've been pushing back a lot of travel for my job. So earlier in the year I was in Cape Town. I'll be in Manila in the next month. And so I just had to sort of get my priorities right.
Yeah.
But the club's been really good for me. Made a lot of mates. As you just alluded to, had a bit of success. And I'm still trying to watch as many games as possible. So it's good being back. Yeah, just in a little bit of a hiatus for the time being.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when he says tries to get as many games, it's basically walking out the back door.
Yeah.
We need to put that out there. I mean, from that angle.
Yeah, I mean, you're more than welcome to come and join if you weren't in the stands and doing a great job on the mic there. You're more than welcome to come join. It is different. There is the netting behind, so it does make it a little bit difficult to see. But it's actually quite unique in the sense that I still feel like I'm on the pitch because you do still hear all the noises of the game. You still hear the keeper talking. You still hear the centre backs chirping and chatting, which is great. But yeah, no, it does make it a little bit harder though when you decide to give up the game for a year or so. It's always on, and especially earlier on when you boys were doing those 7 a.m. sessions in December and January, it was waking me up actually. So it was a bit unique.
Just go out there and yell at him.
Hey, it's not as easy as it seems. I tell you what, getting to the point now where the boys are telling me, obviously when I got here, I come over from Christchurch and been in Finland before, so that was cold. And then I was saying, there's no way winter here can be that cold. The last couple 6:30 a.m. mornings, I'll tell you, yeah, it's getting there.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's starting to get there. So, but no, the morning sessions are class at the same time. You get their training in out of the way, and then the boys can bugger off to work after, so it's good too.
You mentioned life after, well, not. I don't want to say after football because you mentioned it was just a bit of a hiatus. So what do you do for work outside of this, Jordan?
Yeah, so I work for an engineering company, so focus in learning and development, which is a unique sort of area. So focusing on graduate engineers coming out of university, and then focusing on their development. So that was the reason behind my Cape Town visit. I went over there and set up a graduate program in our Cape Town office.
Wow.
So the company's like a Podium. We're in an engineering delivery and sort of consultancy company. Really enjoy it. It's long hours. As I was alluding to off air, I had about 8 or 9 meetings today, so a lot of talking. So probably not the best day to be getting behind a microphone, but it is very interesting. It's totally different to what obviously a few of the boys do in the team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Who knew a footballer could be so clever?
I'm going to back you up here.
As you're lost for words.
Yeah, as I'm lost for words. But that's one thing that's so crucial, and I think that a lot of young people, obviously you've been at the club for a long time, right? And then you surround yourself with good people and you pick up skills in sport that transfers over into other life skills. So what do you take from your youth sports and growing up in team environments? What do you transfer over to what you do today? 100%.
It's just a matter of being around a lot of people, being professional in front of people that you've never met before. I mean, you if you spend a large majority of your life within a locker room, you develop how to communicate to people. You develop how to understand, develop emotional quotient, and how to to best adapt to situations. There's so much that you learn from being in a locker room that you can transfer into any office environment. But I mean, there are also some stuff that happens in the locker room that probably aren't going to be suitable for a professional workplace as well. So I mean, there is a lot there, and that's probably the aspect to football that I miss the most. I know, Benny, you'd know coming to the club, like the bunch of boys that we have in this team is just fantastic. They make you feel at home straight away. Without the locker room, I don't think if you have issues within the locker room, then it's definitely not going to correlate to success on the pitch. So I think they work hand in hand and definitely provide you with skills that will benefit you outside of the footballing environment.
And obviously, you've been at Perth Soccer Club for a long, long time. You've had an affiliation with the club for a long, long time. How old were you when you started playing?
Yeah, mate. When I first started playing, I was, I think 4 or 5, and I think I came to the club maybe around that same time, and then obviously worked my way all the way up. So I remember, 10s, 11s, and then 12s. I think we went to Gold Coast for a Perth trip. I went to Adelaide for a Perth trip as well with Perth Soccer Club. And then obviously sort of as you go up, had some great coaches along the way, had a bit of success as well. So 16s, 18s, and then resis, and all the way through. I sort of played with the same guys, and with those same guys, we managed to sort of win the league, and which correlated into, I don't know if you're going to touch on it, but correlated into that 2016 season where it just ended up being a bunch of boys who I'd sort of come up with all around the same age as me, make it into the first team at the same time. And it was really that camaraderie and that chemistry that we had developed since, under 10s that brought us our first league win in a while.
Those early years, do you recall much of it? Did you have that natural talent, or is it something that you had to work as? Because I've always seen you as a very hardworking kind of person.
No,
is
for
that
sure.
something that was kind of the...
For sure, no, it's always been sort of, know your ability, but push your ability to as far as you can get it. So that's sort of been where my career has been. I've always sort of been... I don't want to say I'm the hardest worker in the room because everyone works hard, but yeah, do your job and do your job properly. And so sort of was at the premier or the league level all the way up. Probably slower to progress into the first team. I think my first team game was around when I was 18. But nowadays you see some boys making the first team at 15, 16 years old. So a bit slower to get in there, but once I sort of cracked it, sort of stuck there and reaped the rewards of sort of putting in the hard work. And I think that's what a coach sort of appreciates in a player. As long as you're sort of knowing your limits and pushing yourself to your limits, that's how I've sort of achieved success in my footballing life.
Then those are unbelievable qualities of not just a player, but then you can turn that into a leader, right? So you obviously had a massive leadership role as captain and club captain. So what's the separation from a player to then being that leader on the park, in the locker room, like you talk about?
Yeah, it's definitely a fine balance. I was very fortunate enough that when I sort of got going in the first team, I had some good leaders sort of to base my leadership style off of. So in 2016, we had a spine of, so we had Gustavo Caraccione, who wasn't much of a speaker, Brazilian, so he spoke Portuguese. But then in the middle, we had Clark Kelty, who had a lot of experience in England. Centre back, we had Adrian Madashi, and then at goalkeeper, we had Francis Suarez. So that was a whole heap of leadership running straight through the spine, led by Clark, then passed on by Francis, and then on to me. And so having those guys to look up to as I was sort of developing as a footballer and then eventually moving into a vice captaincy and then a captaincy definitely helped along the way. I think naturally you try and embody sort of what they are doing on the pitch. But when, Franny moved on, I think he moved on around 2019, 2020, it was up to me to sort of define how I wanted to shape my leadership. And I sort of seen that as a player person. So always someone that can be relatable to the players and what they need, and then sort of providing a voice for them off the pitch. With the club, it's a fine balance. There's always going to be politics that happen at any single club that you're in. So it's being sort of an ear to listen to what they have to say, but also listening to your playing group and sort of prioritizing what needs to be said. But very happy with my time here as captain, and obviously playing with Harley previously. Very happy to see him being given the captaincy this year, and I know that he's more than capable than taking that to the next level. So, yeah, very excited.
You talk about some of the players there, mate. Some of the coaches, I guess, must have had a real influence on you.
Yeah, 100%. So that I always sort of allude to that 2016 year because it was so funny because we had a new coach come in at Gareth Naven who coached, I think, for 8 or 9 games, and then he got signed by Melbourne Victory. So then Ramon Falzon came in, and we had Mark Wingle as the assistant the entire time there. So obviously Mark and Ramon had great success, and they were a nice little balance as well. So Ramon was a very player, personable person. Mark was very personable as well, but Mark was more technically focused. So they balanced out. So sort of Ramon would deal with the player side of things, and Mark would deal with the tactical side of things. And then that naturally flew on to Mark and Dale coming in, who again were fantastic, and I have nothing but good things to say about them both. And then I think the club, when they decided to move on from Mark and Dale, brought in obviously Danny Hay, and my short time with Danny was fantastic. He brought a breadth of experience from obviously playing internationally, coaching internationally, and obviously haven't had much to do with Kenny, but obviously seeing Kenny coach throughout the time I was playing, and he's a very good coach, has proven that at many levels, and I'm sure the boys are enjoying, from the few conversations I've had, enjoying the style that he brings to the team.
Touch on that, like my time obviously short with both Danny and Kenny, it's as you're talking about the qualities of leadership, it's like that's what I'm picking up from both of them, and that's what I try to do as a player and just as a person in general, right? It's like you can only try and absorb as much good qualities and information from those experiences as possible. Then how can you take the best bits and take that forward? And that's obviously what we're trying to do on the park as well. And as we were talking about earlier with Sean, it's just a matter of time, and I've got absolute faith that it's just a matter of time before all of this comes together and we start kicking on, doing really, really well. So yeah, mate, it's so good to see when you're sitting up at the back, and like we see it from the field as well. You get cornered and you see the support as a class. So yeah, from all the boys, I know it means a lot too.
Definitely miss it, and I think that with such a young team, I mean, I say young team, but they now had a year or two under their belts, like your leaders like yourself, Benny, and the other boys that they've got in, Harley and Federico, and some of the more senior players. It's seriously important that you're able to, demonstrate those good qualities and lead from the front, because if you're doing that on the pitch, they see that and they replicate that, and then that's just, from my personal experience, that's what leads to success at this level. At this level, you don't need to necessarily be the team that has the best technical ability, but if you're the best team that works as a team, and works for each other, then you're gonna achieve success.
Jordan, I can hear in your voice you take your football very, very seriously, and the way that you feel about the club and about your achievements, very, very seriously as well. But was it always like that? Or was football just fun growing up, or was it always something that you wanted to take seriously? No, you got to find that balance. Like if you're allowing football to be too much pressure and bring too much pressure and stress onto your life, then you're not going to enjoy it. Like, as I mentioned, I managed to I fell in love with the sport because I come from an Italian background. My nonno was very passionate about it, which sort of led down the ranks. A lot of my first cousins played it. My brother and my sister played at the club, actually. My sister was part of the first team here at the club. And so I've always definitely enjoyed football, but you got to find that balance of also having those friends within the group that you can go out there and play for each other. And I may sound serious, and I do take the mickey a lot, but it's finding that balance of enjoying yourself out there, but also knowing that there's the goal of trying to win things, because you don't start your preseason in December and wrap up your season in October and not wanting to win anything. So you got to find that balance of having a great time, but also keeping your mind on the prize. So. And you mentioned Nono there, and obviously brothers and sisters. But I know you're a big sportsman.
Yeah.
Who are some of the big heroes that you kind of always looked up to?
I mean, there's a few. I'm a big sports fan, so it's not just football. It's AFL, it's NBA, it's NFL.
You should see this guy's Twitter feed. It's just NBA. He knows everything about every player.
Yeah. I'm a big. If you were to ask me any football questions in the last couple of years, I wouldn't be too great at them. But in terms of footballing icons, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I really looked up to like Frank Lampard's, and especially being like a fullback, I really looked up to like the Ashley Coles. The way they played, and like Ashley Cole's work ethic was insane. So that's sort of who I tried to base my game on and base my work ethic on. In terms of the Italian national team, definitely like Fabio Cannavaro. Yeah, just left it all out there. So they're sort of some of the footballing icons I based my game on.
The Italian passion in defending is just I don't.
Maldini, Cannavaro,
it's just,
you can
it's
just
unbelievable. It's the passion, and
like
it's incredible. But I think maybe it's Italians in general, because when it comes to their food, when it comes to people just having conversations and the love that they have, that's what I've learnt here, man. It's different class. So it's definitely good to be in a club that's got that kind of roots in the history. And yeah, hopefully I haven't played centre back yet, obviously, in terms of position wise, but hopefully I'd like to bring a bit of that too. So we'll see what happens, but definitely get stuck in and fly around.
I'm going to just jump on that a little bit more, and I actually had a conversation. The reason I'll ask you this is I had a conversation with he considers himself Italian Aussie. He considers himself Australian with Italian background. He doesn't consider himself full on Italian. And he said, when it comes to guys that I resonate with, I don't go for the Cannavaros, the Maldinis. He goes, it's more like the Brescianos, the Grellas, and the Aloisis that he kind of resonates with, because they've come a similar journey. Is that similar to yourself? Do you find that?
I don't really I guess I don't differentiate the two. Yeah. I mean, I understand the comparison, and obviously they've come from Italy to Australia, and I guess, yes, in terms of the way they go about it, but in terms of the way they play,
Yeah.
I still sort of think of like the Cannavaros and the Maldinis and that sort of stuff. Like there's nothing better than getting out there and just laying a hard tackle. Or I was having a joke with my mate yesterday, who's a goalkeeper, and he was talking about, he had to go play on the pitch at training and there was a ball kicked from the goal kick and winning that header. I go, mate, I miss that. I miss just flying over a player and just slinging yourself at that. And when it's a rainy day, sliding in on those tackles, like that's probably the stuff I resemble with. But I do still refer to myself as more an Australian Italian and sort of just adapted the Italian culture through my heritage.
No, it is interesting. You talked about some of the players, some of the coaches. I want you to talk about some of the rivals and some of the clubs that you really enjoyed going up against.
I think initially, so before we went through our successful period, there was Bayswater that were very successful, and they're obviously a proud Italian club too. And having grown up playing against Bayswater throughout my footballing career and growing up playing against these same people throughout the ranks, I think Bayswater was one that we looked forward to purely because it was like, that's your time and now it's our time. And we sort of, I guess, marked our own era from there on in, which is like something I'm extremely proud of. So Bayswater's always been one. Obviously, I think if you've watched the Perth SC Floreat game, you've known that there's always a red card or two in them. There's some fisticuffs being thrown around in the tunnel. So, I mean, you're obviously, with these sort of environments that you get yourself in on the pitch, the rivalry's there, but once you're off the pitch, you got to leave it there because Perth's a small place and you'll be running into these guys at the nearest club or at a wedding or a 21st. So,
or you might be playing there one day if you're not careful.
100%. But I mean, the rivalries that you develop are good, and I think I did hear Benny talk about it maybe on an earlier episode where he talked to playing for Perth. You're always going to be the ones that people want to come and beat. So having that and wearing that badge with pride, you tend to create a rivalry with anyone that walks through those front gates at Doreen Gardens. So, it's all in good spirits.
Very good, mate. Very good. Well, before we let you go, we've got to get into our weekly quiz, Benny. We've got to have a bit of fun with Jordan while he's here, and I've put together a quiz as I've done most episodes for this. I think I've done it in every episode for this. So we're going to have a look at Perth Soccer Club. This is all Perth Soccer Club questions, but majority of the questions are around this year because I want to give Ben a chance.
I'm 0-2. Come on, I need to give me a break here.
I must add, I haven't been to too many games, but the games I have been to, we have won. So I think I've been to 3 or 4.
You got to come every week, mate.
So I don't know if I'll do good at this, but I'll give it my best crack.
Let's have a go. Question 1. How many goals has Perth Soccer Club scored collectively this season?
Jordan.
Go.
16.
No. Do you want to have a go?
Yeah. Is it whoever gets closest?
Yeah, I'll give you whoever's closest.
All right, we'll go 13.
It's 19.
19. That's bad for me.
Is that one for me?
That is one for you. Yeah, we'll give you that.
I was just trying to think of the scorelines in my head. I was like, there's the 4-3. Federico's got a couple. I don't know.
I'm going to get so much stick from the boys for that.
Yeah, you will. You will. All right, question number 2. How many clean sheets has Perth got this season?
Ben.
Go.
3.
Jordan. 1.
Well, I'll have to give it to you because it was closest. It is. Oh, actually, no, it is 1. It is 1. Yep, no, 100% right. It was the 6-0 against Inglewood.
It's looking like another 0-2 for Stroudy.
Yeah, Stroud is in trouble. Yep, it needs a big comeback in the second half. Who leads the Golden Boot so far this season?
Jordan.
Go.
Ollie Laglia.
No, sorry, for Perth.
Sam Cook.
Ben. Ethan Banks. Oh my God, this is bad.
Abdul Osman.
Oh.
Abdul. Yep, it leads it. And I'm going off, this is all on Squatty, so this is all public knowledge there. All right, here you go. How many First Division titles has Perth SC won?
Jordan.
The men's team.
Jordan.
Go.
26.
No.
Is this like in history? First league titles?
So not
history?
leagues, just all titles.
No, leagues. Yep.
Just the men's team.
Yep.
Oh, Ben, I'll guess 21.
But I'll give it to you, Stroudy, because you're closest. 19 leagues.
And then what? It's 26 total.
Yeah, so 19.
Though, right?
Yeah, so there's 19 leagues, and then there is top 4 cups.
No, I think there's more than that. I think.
Is there?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's because there's top 4 cups as we've won.
He's taken over your quiz.
I think there is. I mean, I'm not gonna.
I went on Wikipedia and it was 19.
We're gonna have to come back.
We're gonna
next
have to
week.
check
We're
that
gonna
off.
have to
Off
check
air.
that. Yeah, we'll have to run it back next week. We'll make
That's
sure.
like one of the things I know. I know it's like 20. It's 26 titles.
Well, it's 19 leagues on
Okay.
Best Division titles.
Ah,
leagues.
And then been around for
On Wikipedia.
since
Unless
48.
someone's been playing around with the Wikipedia page again.
We got any phone a friend in this one? No, we're not going through that. All right.
All right, here you go. Last question. Name 3 Perth SC men's players that have gone on to play for the Socceroos.
Jordan,
Go.
Adrian Madashi, Nikita Rukavica, Dino Djurbic.
There you go. It's game over.
Yeah. Fair play. You've asked Mr. Perth SC himself.
Hey, half of them would.
Yeah, this year
questions
I
this
know.
year.
I'm going to get stuck in the locker room for that, so that's on me, and that's apologies, lads. So yeah.
What's the fine going to be?
I don't even. Want
You boys still doing dart throws?
No, we're not. We've actually got 2 darts. I don't know where the third one's gone.
Oh, no.
What's It's going. Tell us what's this dart throws all about.
Essentially, you get instead of
Is it double or nothing?
No, it's essentially instead of giving a fine of like $5, $10, you get dart throws. So 2-3 dart throws. So if you throw a triple 20, that's $60.
You
So
get
people,
a ball, it's 50.
so people are aiming for the one, they hit the 17 or whatever it is. It's quite crack
okay.
up.
That's
I think
good.
I
like
think
that.
Federico last year on 2 or 3 throws threw like 120. So
That's impressive though. It's
Yeah,
like,
it
if you're
is.
actually going to play darts, it's well played. So I don't think he's going to be aiming for that.
That's awesome.
Feddy's
That's
sharpshooter. To be fair, he's not too bad.
There you go. Jordan, thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate it.
appreciate it, boys. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to the Perth SC Podcast. Blayne Treadgold and Ben Stroud. Big thank you to Jordan DeLeo, who had a bit of fun with us earlier on with the quiz. And also Sean Doolan gave us a bit of insight on what it's like to view the game from the other side of the fence as well.
Yeah, that's so good for us to get the perspective of those guys. Like from a player's perspective, you can often forget how important it is, the game and the results and what it means to people on the other side of the fence, right? Because as players, you're just trying to do your best all the time, and it's so good to chat to them and their stories of obviously Jordan being here from a very young age, and then Sean from the opposite, finding the club at a later time, coming from a different background, and then seeing how important it is to both of them. So it's wicked stories, but we do have to go back and we have to apologise to Jordan. Based on the quiz, we've got a judge's decision, and 26 titles have been won.
26. There you go. I buggered that up. And as I said, someone's got to go and check out that Wikipedia page, because that's when I've taken all the information from. So I do apologise to everyone for that. Big weekend to come, Benny. Looking forward to the NPL men's game. That is against Perth Glory. We'll chat about that in a quick second, but a big one for the girls heading up to Perth, the Red Star, to take on Red Star in what I believe is a top-of-the-table clash. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, look, top of the table clash. They're at the right end of the ladder, both teams, and it's a great opportunity for the girls to go get 3 points and make it even more interesting going forward. I think that they owe one from night series, so I know that last time there was it was a good match, and look, I'm looking forward to that one, and it should be an absolute cracker.
Yeah, no, very much looking forward to that. And 5 points in between Perth Red Star, who lead the way, and Perth SC. So a good chance to try and rein in a little bit of, a little bit on that, on the front runners in the NPL women's competition. The boys, your lot, they'll be up against Perth Glory Saturday 3 p.m. at the Sam Kerr Football Centre. Great facility out there. If you haven't been out there, Azuri fans, make sure you go and check it out, because it is a fantastic facility. Going to be interesting for you guys to play out there on the turf.
Yeah, haven't played out there before, and yeah, it should be an absolute belter. Look, as we talked about the girls being at the right end of the ladder, unfortunately, we're at the opposite end, and so are Glory. So there's a really good opportunity for us to go get 3 points and make a bit of a separation and a gap there as well. So yeah, like Saturday Arvo should be an absolute cracker, and I'm really looking forward to getting out to Sam Kerr and hopefully getting those 3 points.
Well, just to remind the listeners in particular, Benny, I'm sure I don't have to remind you that it is locked between 9th and 11th. Balcatta Etna on 8 points, Perth on 8 points, and Perth Glory also on 8 points. So you want to get away from these relegation kind of situations, and it's one of those leagues yet again that you do string a couple of wins together, you fly up the table.
Yeah, look, in my short career and from my experience, I've learned from some pretty incredible people, and all that we can do is honestly focus on the next job, right? You can look at a league table, you can look at where people sit on points and things, but then you can't forget about your process. You can't forget about what you do during the week, and you can't forget about your performance and focusing on that in the weekend. And the only thing that we can concentrate on is Perth Glory and our next job. And what can we do to control what we do, and how do we play, and how do we go out there and do that to the best of our ability. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and it'll be a cracker because it's at a great facility, and it should be good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to that. 3 p.m. on Saturday at the Sam Kerr Football Centre. It is the Perth Soccer Club NPL men's team against Perth Glory, and just to recap, the girls are up against Red Star. That is Sunday at 3 p.m. up there at Red Star Arena. We might leave it there. We just need to remind listeners as well, Ben, due to the, we've got the Socceroos here next week, but we've also got the semi-final of the Cup happening next Wednesday. So just listen out for a little bit of a change in the podcast next week. There might be just dropping on a bit of a different day, but we'll let everyone know about that as well. Big weekend to come, mate. All the best to you and the team.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and looking forward to getting behind the Azzurri this weekend. Signing off from the Perth SC Podcast. Come on, the Azzurri.